All right, you wanted to show me something, Haskell?
Yeah. Come check this out. The two boxes I want to show you. The first box is this box over here. This is like a collection of different molds, shapes, designs that we worked on over the years. All right? So this is kind of like most similar to what we have now. We made a tooling for it. We poured the silicone. That was pretty thick, yeah. That was a little thick. Then we have this one. That's a poured mold, silicone mold. This is called a compression mold, but we put a wire around it so you can feel it as you're popping it out. It's got a frame. All right? And then another cool one is this one over here. You get things like toolings over here. This is what enables us to make. Oh, that's all right. It's all good.
It's tooling. It allows you to make the mold.
Allows us to pour the silicone and let it cure and demold it from there. That was like a test size before we went with the full size.
Okay.
And then this box over here, also more molds that we made over the years, more toolings. This is actually where I got the idea from to put a frame around it. I went to a kitchen store in London when I was visiting my mom, and you'll see that one has like a frame around it, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I got the idea to put the frame around.
So it's not like those Harvest Right has some silicone molds, right? But it's very flimsy. So
yes.
You're like,
yeah,
it needs to
more
have
like
some,
this, you say.
It needs to have some sturdiness so that you can.
Well, I was thinking it would help with the demolding process. That's what I was thinking. But actually, it didn't end up helping so well with that. But this is one of the things I made. This is really cool. I wanted to see how I could help with the demolding process. So I magnetized the mold, right? I'm going to show you. Step over there 1 second. I'll show you what the idea is, and we still have to work on it. All right, so imagine, forget all this setup over here. Imagine you have a conveyor, right? Imagine that's filled with frozen Froyo at scale. We want to just one after the other, mold, demold it, right? So magnetized conveyor. All right, put this on top over here. Filling heads.
Filling heads.
A freezer tunnel. One conveyor could do the whole thing. At the end of the freezer tunnel, once it's frozen, have an air knife over here, blowing out the Froyo. This is how you scale a continuous cycle.
Wow. So it just goes to show, like, you have to be an entrepreneur. You have to figure out how to fill these things because freeze drying is so new that production facilities don't know what you want.
No. That's why it's hard to find out.
They're like, they can store one of these, but like you said, the Watershed and these bigger toll processing, they have big freeze dryers, but they don't know how to do this.
They had zero desire to do it.
Or desire to do it.
They're making a lot of money just being a toll processor.
Okay.
Well, why do this? It's a headache. They leave this to little guys. And I'm hoping that works to our advantage, or maybe that we can collaborate in a meaningful way.
Yeah, it also kind of puts a little bit of a barrier of any of big competition trying to replicate it because it's like, well, no, this took a lot of time. Yeah. And even if they could do it in half the amount of time, it's still half the amount of time and investment that they have to do it themselves.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. And now you have to be really careful because we have a patent pending right now, but you have to be careful because if you invent something that hasn't been thought of before and you're sure, like you've done your research, you know it hasn't been done before, but it's really good, you have to be careful who you share that information with, at any level of the game. Even sharing, I wouldn't even share anything with Harvest Right. I made that mistake once already before. And it could be a very costly mistake. So you kind of, I'd rather keep things confidential. The things that I show people on Instagram is what's good for marketing and awareness. But really,
and that's why I think it's really gracious that you're showing us this stuff anyway, because
this is advanced stuff.
Anybody who's watching this, I don't get this type of honesty and transparency. A lot of people are very protective, and I'm not saying that you're not protective. I'm just saying I wish people were more like you. But at the same time, like some people just want to say, you know what? I've worked really hard on this. I do not want to share it. I'm happy to talk to you in an office, but I don't want to show anything like that. And that's perfectly fine. But I think you're really proud of what you've done here. And that shows through what you're showing me and all this stuff. So
Elon Musk inspires me with his creations and his inventions, build a rocket ship. You have to be a genius engineer and to do all these other things. In a non-political perspective, just as far as his mind, the stuff is amazing. But once he took Tesla and he made it like an open source, I thought, you know what? what's stopping other companies from making their own Tesla version?
Yeah.
But because the steps are so difficult to get to those steps in the beginning, you can put I could put a whole blue book out there and present it to somebody. As big as they are, they're not going to know how to do it. Doesn't make a difference, right? So you really have to have the willingness to see it through till the very end.
Yeah.
That's why I don't mind telling people what I do, because there's one thing about knowing, but there's another thing about doing.
Yeah.
And another thing about having the perseverance every time you get knocked down to get back up again, infinite times over.
Yeah.
Nonstop.
My freshman year of college, my Entrepreneur 101 class, my professor said to us, how many people have an idea for business? Everybody raised their hand. Then he said, all right, well, what's the idea? And nobody spoke. And he said, just so you know, everyone has a great idea. It's only as good as you executing on it. So he was like, everyone was like sheltering, but you got to do it.
Yeah.
Well, this is some good behind the scenes. Let's get to the facility.
All right, let's do it.